Did you know in Avengers Endgame, which takes place 5 years in the future, we see Korg using a PlayStation 4. This is because the PlayStation 5 is still sold out. Did you know in 127 hours, James Franco is seen cutting off his arm to free himself from a boulder, although in real life James kept his arm. This is because James Franco is a coward who can't properly commit to a role. Did you know that most of the Star Wars prequels were actually filmed on a green screen? This is because they couldn't afford to actually travel to different planets. Did you know in Shazam, Superman only appears from the neck down? This is because there wasn't enough money in the budget to digitally remove his mustache. Did you know that in Batman v Superman, in order to defeat a god who has super strength, laser eyes, and can fly, Bruce Wayne does pull-ups? Did you know in Avengers Endgame, Thor is seen playing Fortnite? This is a very clever choice by the directors, since they wanted to portray him at the lowest possible point a human can be. Did you know in the Harry Potter film series, all titles include Harry Potter? This is actually a subtle nod to Harry Potter, the main character of the series. Did you know that despite his name, actor Adam Driver was not considered for a role in Baby Driver? This is because he was a 33-year-old man when the film came out, meaning he was an adult driver. Did you know that all of Chris Hemsworth's space scenes in Avengers Infinity War were filmed on Earth to accommodate the actor's oxygen dependency? Did you know in The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger accidentally blew up a hospital? Christopher Nolan then wrote that scene into the movie so the police wouldn't investigate further. Did you know in Avengers Endgame, Thanos says, "I am inevitable"? This is a mistake from the filmmakers because he is actually Thanos. Did you know that most of 1917 was actually filmed in 2019? This is because time travel would have been too expensive for the entire film. Did you know that Iron Man was actually lying when he said, "I am Iron Man"? This is because he is not Iron Man. He is dead. Did you know in Dark Phoenix, Jean Grey can be seen wearing a grey shirt and blue jeans? This is a mistake from the filmmakers as she is Jean Grey, not shirt grey. Did you know while shooting Star Wars Episode 2, Hayden Christensen once showed up on set crying and screaming about slaughtering a whole village, women and children included, and George Lucas loved it so much that he kept it in the film? Did you know in Spider-Man 2, Mary Jane says, "Go get him, Tiger"? This is because she thought she was talking to Tiger Man, not Spider-Man. Did you know that for Apollo 13, Tom Hanks had to pretend to be an astronaut despite having no previous experience? This is a filmmaking technique called acting. Did you know in Jeremiah Johnson, Robert Redford's character gently moves his head up and down? This is a subtle nod. Did you know that James Franco has acting credits for 147 films, but yet has not won an Oscar for a single one of them? This is because James Franco is a dreadful actor. Did you know in Guardians of the Galaxy, Groot says, "I'm Groot"? This is a very subtle reference to the fact that he is in fact Groot. Did you know in Doctor Strange could be seen defeating his enemy, an apple? This is because an apple a day keeps the Doctor away. Did you know for Wonder Woman 1984, you don't actually have to watch the first 1983 Wonder Woman movies to understand the plot? Did you know in Captain America Civil War, a FedEx delivery driver asks, "Are you Tony Stank?" Dank Cheeto points to Tony Stark, lies and says he is Tony Stank. This means they both committed mail fraud, which is punishable for up to 20 years of prison time. Did you know that the film 1917 claims to be a one-shot movie? This is impossible as there were way too many guns fired. Did you know in The Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne goes on a lengthy murder spree? This is a subtle nod to the fact that I watched the wrong Christian Bale film. Did you know that in Avengers Endgame, Iron Man says, "I am Iron Man"? This is actually a callback to the fact that he is Iron Man. Did you know when Obi-Wan says he has the high ground, it's actually a double meaning? As well as having the physical high ground, he also has the moral high ground. This is because Obi-Wan didn't brutally murder a room of children. Did you know in the film Suicide Squad, Deadshot says, "What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?" This is actually a very subtle nod to the 2021 film The Suicide Squad. Did you know in Avengers Endgame, Tony Downey Jr. tells Thanos that he is Iron Man? This is to keep Thanos in the loop, as he wasn't present at the press conference at the end of the original Iron Man film. Did you know James Franco's directorial debut, The Ape, has a 4.5 score on IMDb? This is a subtle reference to the fact that James Franco can't make a movie to save his life. Did you know in Murder on the Orient Express, Hercule Poirot's mustache is a constant reminder that he is the detective? This is because he mustache every passenger questions. Did you know in Rise of Skywalker, Dark Rey has bad teeth? This is a subtle nod to the fact that she is British. Did you know in John Wick, the main character John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, who plays John Wick in John Wick Chapter 1, John Wick Chapter 2, John Wick Chapter 3, and soon to be John Wick Chapter 4, is actually not a candle, despite what his name implies? Did you know, in order to prepare for his role in 8 Mile, Marshal Bruce Mathers III became a world-famous rapper called Eminem? Did you know that for the disaster artist, James Franco actually didn't have to do much acting? That's because he was already a disaster prior to filming. Did you know that most of the Mars scenes in The Martian were actually filmed on Earth? Did you know in Jurassic World, most of the dinosaurs shown are created by CGI? This is due to the fact that dinosaurs have been mostly extinct since at least the early 1800s. Did you know that Marvel sometimes saves money by reusing the same extras multiple times? Stan Lee is an example of this and has appeared in over 20 MCU films. Did you know that in Indiana Jones in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull wasn't actually from an alien? This is because aliens don't exist. Did you know in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Fred Phelps and James Phelps, who play the Weasley twins, were actually complete strangers before meeting at the audition? Did you know, in order to prepare for his role in Space Jam, actor Michael Jordan played 9 seasons of professional basketball and won 3 national championships? Did you know, in Spider-Man 3, James Franco is seen being blown up by a grenade, although in real life, James was not blown up? This is because James Franco is an absolute fraud. Did you know, in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Professor Palpatine says,
"I am the Senate."
This is a reference to the actor's birth name, Ian the Senate McDermott. Did you know, in Joker, we see Joaquin Phoenix wearing red and lifting his arms to take flight? Unfortunately, he couldn't take off because despite the actor's name, he is not a real Phoenix. Did you know that Pixar often teases their upcoming projects in earlier released films? For example, in The Incredibles from 2004, you can see them reference the yet-to-release Cars from 2006. Did you know, in Star Wars, Attack of the Clones, the clone troopers look very similar to each other? This is a subtle nod to the fact that they are clones. Did you know, for Gemini Man, producers had to use CGI to make Will Smith look younger? This is because Will was reluctant to use time travel. Did you know, at the end of Ratatouille, the food critic, Anton Ego, ends up funding a small bistro for Rennie to cook in? The average lifespan for a rat, the head chef, is 1.8 years, making this a terrible investment. Did you know, in Toy Story 4, Bonnie names her toy Forky? This is either a mistake from the filmmakers, as that is clearly a spork, or Bonnie is a complete idiot. Did you know, in High School Musical 2, Chad wears a shirt that says, "I majored in vacation"? This is actually incorrect, as Chad is still in high school and hasn't majored in anything yet. Did you know that in Jaws, the shark wasn't originally meant to be in the film? He just turned up to set one day and got on so well with Steven Spielberg that Spielberg decided to write him into the movie.